In New York City's 23rd precinct, the whispers began long before anyone had proof. A vigilante, some shadow in the night, had been leaving behind beaten criminals neatly arranged for officers to arrest. No one knew who he was, no one could identify him. Witnesses described him with ridiculous inconsistency: tall, short, glowing eyes, impossible speed, and human strength. Half the precinct loved it. Let him soften them up, they joked. Makes the paperwork easier. The other half, including one veteran officer named Detective Marcus Hale, saw dangerous instead of convenience. Law without restraint was chaos. Vigilantes weren't heroes. They were unpredictable, unstable, and eventually lethal. And yet, no one could catch him, not even Marcus. Every time officers responded, the vigilante was gone, leaping across rooftops, disappearing into shadows, vanishing between buildings like a wraith. Cameras caught nothing but blurs. Criminals refused to talk. New victims, usually Merrill Street syndicate members, appeared weakly, battered, but alive. Still, Detective Hale remained certain the vigilante wasn't aimless. There was a pattern hiding in the chaos, waiting to be uncovered. It started with pins on a map. Every takedown happened within 12 blocks of East Harlem. All the victims were affiliated with the same gang, the Merrill Street Syndicate, one of the most violent trafficking groups in the city. The vigilante wasn't random. He was hunting them. Hale followed the trail across reports, emergency calls, and street chatter until it led him to an alley behind the long-abandoned laundromat, territory well known for drug deals and ambushes. On a cold midnight, as he crept toward that valley, he heard it. A crash, a shout, fist landing with bone splintering precision. With his weapon drawn, Hale rounded the corner, and the sight before him felt like something torn from a nightmare. The vigilante stood in the center of the valley, moving too fast to follow with human eyes. 4 grown gang members lay sprawled around him. 3 were already unconscious. The 4th lay on his back while the masked figure hammered fist after fist into his ribs. "How's it feel?" the vigilante snarled, voice cracking with barely restrained fury. "How's it feel to be helpless? To be nothing?" The gang member whimpered, too weak to lift his arms. Hale stepped forward, voice sharp. "Police, hands where I can see them." The vigilante froze. In that single heartbeat of hesitation, the wounded gang member to the side rolled over, raised a gun with shaking hands, and fired. 2 shots split the air. The vigilante jerked back, one bullet tearing through his leg, the other burying itself below his ribs. Hale fired a single return shot, disarming the assailant, but the damage was done. The vigilante staggered, grabbed a brick and slammed it into the shooter's temple before collapsing against the alley wall, blood soaked through his suit. As Hale approached cautiously, the vigilante let out a trembling breath. "Well, I guess that's it." Then, with shaking hands, he removed his mask, and Hale froze. The vigilante was not a man. He was a boy, barely 14, pale from blood loss, eyes wide with fear and defiance. A kid carrying wounds no child should ever bear. Hale brought him to the hospital himself, keeping the boy anonymous. Found unconscious, he told the nurses. No ID. They rushed him into the emergency surgery room while Hale dug for answers. What he found was a tragedy. Luis Ortega, age 14, parents deceased, killed in a Merrill Street syndicate drive-by. Luis, shot twice in the same attack, miraculously survived. Symptoms afterward: accelerated reflexes, heightened strength, abnormal neural response patterns. No medical explanation. Luis had changed after the shooting, physically, emotionally, and with nowhere to put his rage or grief, he had turned it into violence. When the boy finally awoke, groggy and bandaged, he stared at Marcus through half-lidded eyes. "You tell anyone?" Luis whispered. "No," Hale said softly. "Not yet." The boy swallowed, fear rising. "Why'd you help me?" "Because you're bleeding out on a hospital bed," Hale said, "and because you deserve the truth. And a chance." Luis tensed, expecting condemnation. Instead, Marcus sat beside him and asked, "Why do you do this, kid? Why beat people half to death in alleys?" Luis looked away, his voice cracked. "They killed my family," he said. "And when I woke up from the shooting, I was different. I didn't know what to do with it. I thought if I hunted them down, maybe I'd stop hurting. Maybe it would make the nightmares go away." "Did it?" Hale asked. Luis shook his head. Tears slipped down his cheeks. "No, I just got angrier. I didn't know how to stop." Never had Hale seen so much pain contained in someone so young. The boy had been abandoned by the world, changed by trauma, and forced to survive without guidance. "You keep this up," Hale said gently, "and you'll die. That alley almost proved it." Luis stared down at his trembling hands. "I'm not scared of dying." "You should be," Marcus whispered. and you should be scared of what happens when you kill someone else, because that line you can't cross back. Silence settled between them until Lewis finally whispered, "What do I do then?" Marcus knew arresting him would destroy the boy's future. He also knew letting him continue unchecked would get him killed. So he offered him something Lewis had never been given: a choice. "You can't fix the past," Hale said. "You can't bring your parents back. But these powers, you can use them for something good." Lewis blinked, confused, hopeful, terrified. "You're saying I should be a hero?" "No," Hale said. "I'm saying you should be better than the pain that made you." Lewis let out a shaky breath. "And if I say no, then I arrest you when you heal," Marcus said honestly. "Because I won't let you turn into a monster." Lewis hesitated. Then he reached out slowly and shook Hale's hand. Recovery was fast, faster than the doctors could explain. By the time Lewis walked out the hospital, he was different. Not just stronger, calmer, focused, driven. Under Hale's quiet guidance, he learned restraint. He stopped hunting gang members and started protecting civilians, stopping robberies, breaking up fights, preventing assaults without unnecessary violence. He didn't leave criminals in twisted piles anymore. He left them bruised, arrested, and breathing. He became a symbol, not one of terror, but of hope. People whispered about a new vigilante who protected East Harlem instead of haunting it. Someone who had saved kids from muggers, who stopped a runaway car, who rescued a woman from a burning building before the FDNY arrived. Someone small, someone fast, someone impossibly strong. Someone in the public began calling him the Masked Guardian, though few ever saw him clearly enough to confirm he was real. But Marcus knew Lewis wasn't reckless anymore. He wasn't driven by rage, he was driven by purpose. They never called each other partners, but every night Lewis watched the city from the rooftops, listening to police radios, waiting for Marcus's voice among the static. And every night, Marcus knew the boy was out there, doing good where the law sometimes fell short. A cop and a vigilante, a protector and a survivor, bound by the night that met in that alley, and by the choice that changed them both.